Hi, thanks for talking to me. It's nice to talk to you again. So last season, when I talked to you to Amanda, you had said how the mother and father were sort of like teenagers and they were learning. Well, now they've grown up more. So can you kind of talk about her? I don't want to say she's changing her, her programming, but she's letting other people help as well. She's not only trusting her and father. Can you talk about that and maybe why she's willing to let some other people help along the way?
I think it's because it's also a computer. And we finally landed in the tropical zone, which was part of the mission, right? It was part of the goal from the beginning to start this colony in the tropical zone. And here we are with a colony in the tropical zone, but it looks very different from what I'd imagined. And so there's this bouncing forth and back in the first couple of episodes of like letting go and playing make believe, sort of, that this is what we've always wanted, even though I deep down think I'm very well aware that there's something very wrong. If it's not a flying super serpent, it is something else. There's something else going on. And it's that intuition that you listen so strongly to as a teenager, and that you sort of maybe let go a little bit of in your 20s because you want to fit in somewhere else with the cool game. Yeah, I don't know.
So, okay, thanks. And Abu, obviously, father is struggling a lot during this season with what had happened with her getting pregnant and everything. And he's sort of having to go on his own a bit. Is that independence, do you think, a good thing when it comes to raising the children, or can that maybe come to cause problems? Because obviously, that's why he finds the android, and we don't know yet what's going to happen with that. But can you just maybe tease a bit about that?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I think, you've got to really try and get a gauge or understand yourself in order to um, not necessarily present the best version of yourself to people, but I think it's only until you start feeling comfortable with yourself can you start feeling comfortable with other people. That's kind of, I think, something that uh, me as a boo, I believe, but I think father is starting to understand. Um, I think the development and that he then begins to form with what he's doing in his man cave, in a way, is something that is, again, it just brings another layer to father and another version of him that it's for him, right? It's his space, and I think that will reflect itself to the children and also to mother, and maybe, perhaps the relationship might be stronger, or it might be worse. We don't know. Well, I
No,
know, but
we'll
you guys will
see.
find out. I mean,
We'll
so,
see.
but yeah, but I think it's definitely again something really interesting about the fact that now that the kids are sort of in this space where they are being taken care of by the atheist sort of society, by the trust, there is a lot less pressure of father having to worry about the survival of these children, that he has the space in order to explore um, what he likes and what he does, and I think that's something that Aaron has really has done really nicely and crafted really well with the journey of where father's going in this world.
Well, it's funny actually because in season one they're toddlers, right? And
Mm.
there's no school or kindergarten, and all of a sudden we're in a society, and they're taken care of the most of the day, and they get food at lunch break, provided by someone else. And so there's all of a sudden time,
Yeah,
yeah, to develop
there's
as a parent.
there's so much time.
Mother's running around frantic and anxiety, panicking about her serpent child, and daddy's having a good time in his man cave.
But
Essentially what season two is about.
And Abu, I was going to say, you get quite a fight scene, stunt scene, whatever you want to call it, in the third episode. Can you, without giving too much away, can you tease a little bit about working with that? And do you enjoy that?
oh, I love it. I love that stuff. I mean, the amount of suits that I ripped through to get those scenes done was another story in itself. But yeah, I think I had a lot of fun with both fight scenes actually, that kind of entail. And it's also a really interesting journey for father to go through emotionally again, just because of the extremities of the fights and the kind of the madness that kind of followed through with it. It was such a great experience. I remember that day. I've even got like a video of the fight scene on my phone that I keep, that I play back every now and then, because it was so ridiculous. So yeah, it was
Not to
great.
mention, he was huge, that guy.
Massive.
Yeah.
Like in
No,
real
but
life
in
as
real
well.
life, he
Oh,
was
okay.
almost as big. I've never
Yeah.
seen such a big guy before. Yeah.
I was
Like,
definitely
huge.
worried for father.
Honestly, I was worried for myself when they said, and yeah, you're fighting like a 7-foot guy. And I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
No, man, I was gonna say I know there's a lot of practical effects obviously in the show, but the snake obviously is not real. Can you
No.
talk about working sort of with that green screen and that? And do you find that difficult, or is that something that's just fun for you? Or
No, it's definitely difficult. I think my acting skills are definitely put to the test when it comes to acting with a tennis ball. And so it's all about your attention span, really, and how much you can keep the imagination going. And for a whole day, you start losing it, right? You start like, yeah. And so you put your trust in the director, and then you ask if he's got what he needs, and then I go home and watch a lot of YouTube videos of other great actors doing blue screen, and I'm like, okay, I'm fine. And then I see it as a big learning experience, right? Because essentially, it's so much fun, and the people around you are doing a great job to sort of help you out. So there's, it's not like it's just me and a tennis ball. There's also Sean holding the broomstick with the tennis ball. And yeah.
What about you, Abu? I know you don't quite interact as much with it, but do you enjoy that, or do you find it really
well, yeah, I mean, I've always enjoyed sort of that kind of make believe stuff. I mean, I came, my first sort of introduction to that sort of world was through games and doing motion capture, and sort of where literally everything you see is, like a sword is a cardboard, little stick, and then your dustbin lid is your shield, and you're wearing this stupid suit. I don't know why my career puts me in stupid suits, but here we are. And like, but I think like, so for me, the way I sort of see that stuff is you've got to, it taps into that space as you were a kid, of that imagination and playing with your imagination and really trying to let yourself loose in that. Now, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I think like with this, it is actually slightly harder, because you're in an environment where things do look real. Like, you've got some of the plants, and you've got the sand, and like the construction team just do such a great job at immersing you, that when you do see like this tennis ball snake, you're like, that isn't the snake. So it is a lot harder, but yeah,
You're so much better than I am. I mean, it frustrates the hell out of me when we have these computer scenes and it's just air, and VFX are like, no, just do something with your hands and we'll just add it after. And I'm like, you cannot tell me that. And Nabu's like, okay, just push an imaginary button on the left, drag it here, and I'm like, having a panic attack if Abu wasn't there with his great imagination.
Oh man. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jane.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.